And welcome back, folks. It's Mr. Callen here from Concord Junior High. On behalf of all of our 7th grade math teachers, Miss Earl, Mrs. Oliver, and Mrs. Chuck. Hey, we're here to talk today about, again, adding positive numbers and negative numbers, positive and negative integers, using a number line that's in blue, today's objective. So you can see problems to the right, 5 plus -3, -14 plus -28. Just like a hot air balloon rises, it starts from somewhere and rises. We're going to talk about this throughout the year. Where are we starting from? Well, look at the red. We have added whole numbers, fractions, and decimals. We've done all that, but they've all been positive. So we're going to start with adding positive and negative integers in blue. And then what do red and blue make? They go to purple. So eventually what we're heading to is what we see up here. We're going to be able to compute, add, or subtract positive and negative decimals. So that's the focus. Meanwhile, I also want you to focus on taking this one more step, starting with concrete, then drawing a picture, and then being able to do it abstractly. Let me say that in a slightly different way. Let's say we have a problem, -5 plus 3. Our focus is, sure, you should be able to get some color counters on your desk, out on a table at home, put out -5, put out +3, and then say, oh, here's a 0 pair, here's a 0 pair, here's a 0 pair, let's get rid of those. So you actually take them off your table and look what remains, a -2. Sooner or later, we'd like you to be able to draw your own picture, which is what we've talked about. Although today our focus is going to be on number lines, -5 down, +3 up, and then you can find that -2 on a number line. But we really would like you to be able to eventually look at a problem and do it without hands-on stuff, no chips, no number lines, without drawing a picture. Because after all, it's going to get tougher, ladies and gents. Sooner or later, you're going to have -51 plus 347. And you don't want to sit here and draw out all those minus signs and all those plus signs. While a number line's a little easier, it's a little less clear. So I just want you to think about that as we go through the video. Sure, we want you to do it with hands-on. Sure, we want you to draw a model. But sooner or later, our goal will be to do it without hands-on stuff, without pictures. As you are examining those patterns, I want you to look for patterns when numbers have the same sign, for instance, a positive and a positive, or a negative and negative. Also look for patterns when numbers have opposite signs, for instance, 2 plus a -5, or -2 plus a +6. So keep that in mind as we go through these. We're going to do a couple examples first, and then we'll invite you to write into your notes. Example number 1, 3 plus 7. You guys have been doing that for quite a while. I just want you to see what that would look like on a number line. You're going to start at 0. You're going to go 3 to the right because it is positive. And then naturally, you're adding money. So let's go continue our way to the right by adding 7. You'll notice the arrows end up together at a +10. What if they are negative? For instance, -2 plus a -6. Again, starting at 0. Well, we know a -2 decreases. So this is going to go 2 to the left. And then adding more negatives continues to decrease if you think about money. So it's going to go further to the left. Please notice where that last line ends up right at -8. So again, perhaps you've used number lines before. We're going to talk both horizontally, left and right, as well as vertically up. So let's go ahead and attack your notes now, ladies and gents. Why don't you go ahead, if you have not done so already, get your notes out. And the beautiful part about video, you can fast forward, you can pause, rewind if you're struggling. But let's go ahead and draw number lines for adding integers. First example we have is +1, so I'll draw a line straight up. Then I'm going to put a dot right next to it and add 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, some people do put their lines right on top of each other. I find it most helpful to put it right next to it. Either way, you are quickly going to realize that we end up at 9, which you knew already. So we go to -3 plus a -2. Now notice if we start at 0, which is always a place we start, -3 is decreasing. It's losing money. It's diving underwater. Following that, we are now 3 feet underwater. We are now $3 in debt. We're adding more debt. we're adding another dive. Now, if you put your number lines right on top of each other, or excuse me, your arrows right on top of each other, you're going to see pretty quickly that we are still definitely underwater or in debt, but now we are 5 feet underwater, $5 in debt. Remember, you may press pause and rewind at any time. Let's go on with horizontal number lines, still starting at 0. +5 now goes to the right because it's increasing. On the other hand, now we have $5 or whatnot. Now we are adding debt. We are decreasing 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 puts us right back at 0. 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now you see very quickly here we are in the negatives, but negative how much? After all, you had $5, you lost $5, and then you lost another 4. So we are -4 in the negatives. Let's carry on with -3, which will go to the left, 1 and 2 and 3. And now we're going to add 7, so right above it, 1, 2, 3 gets us back to 0, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Where again you see there are 0 pairs to get rid of. We are definitely in the positives, but positive how much? You can see if you counted very carefully. Last one for the horizontal for the moment is +2, which is 2 to the right. Adding -8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 0 pairs to get rid of again, definitely in the negatives, and in this case, we should be at -6. Now remember, while you're working on drawing number lines, both vertically, up and down, and horizontally, left and right, our ultimate goal would be able to say, without seeing this number line, can you figure out, yes, it's in the positives, yes, it's -6, and then if you absolutely need to, or if a teacher asks, you may be proving your answer. Pause, rewind if you need, otherwise we will move ahead. Flipping over your notes, you'll find some more examples. In this case, I would very much invite you to pause, try to come up with your own notes, and then fast forward and check your notes to mine. -5 is going to decrease or go down. Meanwhile, from there we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. Definitely in the positives. No, you don't need to write the plus symbol, and we are at +1 because all those cancel out. +3 will go up. -7. Okay, so now we have a positive and a negative. Remember, you're trying to figure out patterns, seeing if you can compute these without drawing the pictures. There's some 0 pairs, definitely in the negative, and in this case, we end up at -4. Those were 2 more vertical number lines. Let's go to horizontal. -2 is decreasing, getting smaller and smaller. +8 + 8, add 8. I don't care how you say it, but that one will be increasing to make a +6. +3 plus a -9, worth +3 increases to the right. Adding a negative, adding debt, well, that's not good money, that's bad money, that's decreasing. Unfortunately, you end up in the negatives, and now we're at -6. +7 will go to the right. Oh, this one's interesting. -7, having $7, losing $7. All these 0 pairs cancel out, and you end up with a whole lot of nothing. Please go ahead and check your notes if you were working ahead. Make sure that your notes match up, and we will continue. Another way to think about it is with money, and you heard me say it already before. Remember, please, you're trying to find patterns if the numbers are the same. For instance, losing 7, losing 9, well, you just lost $16 overall. Lose 4, lose 2, you're now $6 in debt. Win $5, win $3, you're now at $8 in the positives and you're happy. Meanwhile, what about when the numbers have a different symbol? Picture a vertical number line, -7 going down, +10 going up. You end up with $3 as a gain overall. $4 and a negative $6 makes a, whoops, should have written gain, positive, because nope, that one was fine. This one was negative, my apologies. And last but not least, negative 8 plus a positive 3. Think about money. You end up being sad. So continue to think about that as we're looking at number lines. Let's go through one more notes page, and that will be modeling addition visual word problems. So we're going to read these together. We're going to draw out a model, focusing either on the plus minus chips or the number line. And then we're going to write an equation. Draw a picture to represent it. Now use that number line to solve the problem. Solve is not the best way to put it. We probably should put compute. We'll eventually get to algebra with solving. Write an addition problem that models the situation. Now let's just look at it one step at a time. Diver is swimming 20 feet below sea level. He sees a sea turtle 10 feet below him. How deep is the sea turtle? All right, let's focus. 20 feet, where is that 20 feet? It is below sea level. That's the diver. Sea turtle, 10 feet below him. Question, how deep is that turtle? Now maybe we should focus on writing, let's do the number line first, huh? So I'm going to draw a number line, thinking to myself, well, the diver is already 20 feet down, but the turtle is even farther beyond that. If I were to draw pluses and minuses, 20 feet down, and then the sea turtle is an additional 10 feet down. Now some of you are already coming up with the answer of negative 30 feet, or 30 feet below sea level. But can you in fact write an addition problem? Sure you can. Negative 20, and then an additional negative 10. I know that sounds weird to add negatives, but after all, the turtle is below the diver. So this is how we can draw models, either with a number line or with pluses and minuses. Writing an expression with numbers and symbols. And finally, finding the answer where that turtle is. Now let's go on. And I would invite you right now, if you wish, to pause, try to do this on your own, and then come back. Carrie owes her mom, that's an important word, $10. She makes $12 for babysitting. To be frank, we don't really care what she makes the money with. The most important part is thinking about her money as increasing or decreasing. If she pays her mom back, how much money does she get to keep? Now, some of you do better with number lines. Others of you do better with pluses or minuses. Think about Carrie owing money. Well, that would be $10 down or 10 minus signs. Making money. There's 10. 12 must be a little higher. Now I'm going to challenge you to write the expression first of owing $10 and then making, earning, or increasing 12. Of course, many of you already realized what the answer would be. In the end, she gets to keep $2. That is in the positives. You can write a plus sign if you want, but she certainly has $2 in the end. Now for example number 3, I'm going to encourage you to simply draw one of the models. Draw either the number line or the pluses and minuses. Do not draw both. Don't forget, if you have 0 pairs, some people cross off 0 pairs, some people circle them, and some people do both. Some people circle and then cross off. That's your call. Let's wrap this up with one last example of a plane in air. Go ahead and pause if you wish, or if you've already gone, let's go. Altitude is 3,000 feet. Dip down seems like an important expression, 300 feet, to avoid turbulence. Again, not really that important, but here's what is important. What is the altitude of the plane now? Now, for those of you thinking, okay, which model is going to be best for me? I'd invite you to say, are you going to sit here and draw 3,000 plus symbols? I'm going to guess probably not. So maybe your model looks like that instead. Instead of drawing all the pluses, all the 3,000s, just draw 3,000, just draw a few plus symbols and then draw dot, dot, dot. Meanwhile, dipping down would be minuses. And again, I'm not going to sit here and draw 300 minus symbols, but I can do dot, 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 dot. You will notice that I drew more plus signs than minus signs. Meanwhile, on the number line, it's really not nearly as important. We can see, I'm not going to draw all the way to 3,000, but I just drew an arrow. 300 is a much smaller bit. Now, if we're going to write an expression, 3,000 is positive above sea level. You may write the plus if you want. Dipping down, then, is a negative 300. Now imagine if you were crossing off zero pairs. How many zero pairs would you cross off? You can see it a little more clearly. We need to get rid of 300. How much does that leave? So if you want, you can go off to the side of your paper and find out what is remaining. And in the end, you would find 2,700. You can see that with borrowing if you need to write that regrouping. So a final answer, that plane will be at 2,700 feet. Thankfully, still above sea level. Think about it. If your answer was below sea level and you're talking about an airplane, that would not be a reasonable response. So with that, ladies and gents, you have notes. You'll have a homework assignment assigned to your teacher. Please feel free to email us, ask us questions, or wait patiently and come to the next day ready to learn. Nice job with your notes, and we will see you all soon.